scissors right here in front of me. Body of a fish. Which will have yellow and white fins. And we'll have yellow and white. That'll do. Okay, what kind of head is this one going to have? And will he have a little, I think he will have a little side fin here. Okay, is he going to have a red head or a yellow head? What are your thoughts? I think he'll have a red head. I'm kind of running out of stuff options. Okay, so I've got a mouth and a need an eyeball. I need an eyeball. White. Eyeball will do. Yeah, I can go right there. It's my glue. I am okay. We've been, as you know, getting our ducks in a row so that we can go to the lake, and we have to clean it more this coming weekend, so we can use it to rent to some friends who are going to be there for a weekend, a week rather, and we have to make it presentable. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm selecting objects and paintings and furniture artwork from the Minneapolis house to bring up, sort of to keep the Minneapolis house alive. Thank you. And just keep the Minneapolis house and my parents' memory and all of that other stuff alive. Not that we would forget about them, but you know what I mean. So what we're doing is I have a lot of paintings, a couple of paintings that I want to retain, bring up to the lake. There's some that I have at the lake that I would like to, I don't know if destroy is the right word, but remove. They've served their purpose and they can be rolled up and forgotten about or kept or something. I don't know what, but I just, there was a time when painting really, really big paintings was in, and consequently a lot of the paintings I have are quite large, and rather than one large painting that I really don't like anymore, I can hang 3 or 4 of my father's paintings. Hi Mouse, I'm making fish. Of course, I tried to trim my beard off, but I did not let the batteries in the clipper get charged up enough, so it died on me halfway through. That fish has one big eye. That's for damn sure. Big fat eye. And tight, tight mouth. A guppy. And they have big eyes. I don't know my actual fish. There's a mouth and an eyeball, and it will have blue fins with trim. How about that? I think that's a good idea. Never enough fish. Well, you know, I find them as relaxing as I find, as some people might find worry beads, or I don't know what else people do to relax themselves. Worry beads and what else? Throw me a bone here, people. So I'm a member of a Facebook group for people that collect typewriters. And I have a large, well, based by their standards, I have a small collection, but I have maybe 30 of them, maybe 40, I don't know, something like that. And the group on Facebook has this little game they like to play. What's in the box? Where they will show a box of a typewriter and you're supposed to guess what brand is in it. So I played that little game today and I said, you're never going to guess. You might get close, but you're never going to guess. And someone said, I can't wait to see. So I let them see it sooner than I had originally planned. And they had to admit that they would not have guessed. Shit, am I doing this the wrong way? God damn it. So I will show you in a minute what it is. Or that fidget thing, that fidget wheel that was popular for about 3 minutes. Fidget spinner, what they were. Look. So let me show you what I did in the typewriter group. First, I posted this. And it's a drawing I did when I was in college, I guess. Crosshatch with a rapidograph pen. This is before I knew fountain pens existed. So there's probably 10,000 little crosshatchy lines on this. So then for the what's in the box thing, I showed him the box. I said, what's in the box? And I said, you'll get close, but you'll never guess. You'll never guess. What's in the box? People, you can guess. You're smarter than they are. You know me better than they do. Do we have any guesses? I'm going to make another guppy here. Well, you're close, Mighty. You're close. It's a typewriter that I made of paper. So it's cut paper glued together, kind of like I'm doing my fish. And then I draw on it with pen and ink. An ink wash to make it look like this. What do you think? Well, it's a drawing, a three-dimensional drawing of a typewriter, to be precise. Ms. Mouse. I don't want to be nitpicky, but I'm being nitpicky. I'm not really sure how long it took to do that one. Maybe a week. I was kind of famous for that kind of artwork I did for a while in my art career. I got a grant, and it was put bread on the table, beer in my gullet. So it was handy for a while. This fish evolved to go right up to the aquarium glass and suck off the scum that grows there. It's right up to the end. Well, you saw the drill press. Downstairs, because we're selling the house here, I have to find a way to get rid of some of this stuff. And I gave a little paper clarinet to a friend of mine yesterday. But I have a telescope that's about 8 feet tall. I have little tiny bits and pieces of that telescope that fell on the floor and I haven't fixed. I have a saxophone downstairs. I have a safe that's about 4 by 4 by 3 feet that you open up, and then it opens up again, and I'm planning on burning all of this stuff because I can't store it. It's sort of falling apart anyway. I may keep parts of it. Wasky is coming to visit, and I may see if he would like to be gifted something. But he has a house that's about the size of this kitchen table, so I have a feeling it's not he might take it out of being nice, but I don't want him to be nice. I mean, yes, I want him to be nice, but I don't want him to take it because if he doesn't have room, I don't want him to take it. Well, I didn't use the safe for anything. It was a piece of art. And my art at the time, that's what my art looked like at the time. And I made things that were, I called them three-dimensional drawings. I like to think of them as you're seeing a drawing in 3 dimensions. So, and I made a 3-room installation piece that looked like you were in a basement. It was modeled after the basement I lived in Madison, Wisconsin. And so it had a boiler and another boiler, a water heater. It had a piano in it, which was made of paper. Yeah, I like him too. I like his democratic take on pens and politics. I like that he, seems to enjoy all different kinds of pens. They don't have to be the rarest thing in the world. They don't have to be the most expensive. He's very democratic. And so am I, though I do like the old ones. He's someone who he's liking the older ones more and more these days, but he does tend to like he likes both. Okay, I need yellow with red. He does like those. He does like Eastern Bloc pens, and he has said that he's kind of writing a book or a novel or something. I don't know what. So it made me think that maybe he'd like the typewriter. But then I was thinking, Tom Hanks is another typewriter fanatic. And if I were to send it to Tom Hanks, maybe he might give me some free publicity. What are your thoughts? Dear Mr. Hanks, you may not like this, and if not, please send it back. Here's my shipping address and my FedEx account. But you might like this typewriter I made in 1985 or whenever it was. Well, I talked to him on the phone after that, and I said, I tell you what, Wasky, let's design a pen that we can hire someone in Antarctica to make, and then we'll be set. We'll have your pen and we'll make $1 million. Of course, $1 million is not what we would make. We would lose money, but he would have his pen. He'd be able to buy the pen wholesale. Come on. Here we go. I do have them. They're in Boston, and they're behind a million things. But actually, I think I gave a bunch of them. I had some large prints, which when Russell was visiting me, he was thinking he might want to do some sort of installation thing too. And I said, well, and he wanted me to be an advisor, listed as one of his advisors. So I said, well, if you want, take these with you, and you can explain who I am by these pictures. And I imagine he has them still somewhere, but we'll get them back, I'm sure. This is not blue, this is black. What color is this? Oh well, looks like it's blue. Call it blue. Are you ready to hear a very fun, poignant, I think it's poignant story about my neighbor that used to live next door here? She and her husband traveled the world, and after her husband died, she continued to travel the world without him. And she went to the North Pole and realized that the only continent she had never been to was Antarctica. So she decided to go to Antarctica. So she got on a boat in New York somewhere. New York Harbor, I guess, is where the boats are. And she left for Antarctica. Well, some days after the voyage began, she fell and hit her head and went into a coma and died. Okay, that's the sad part of the story. The body was taken off the ship and put in a refrigerated box and sent to England. Then it was because the only flights that were leaving Argentina or the Falkland Islands, maybe that's where it was. The only flights from that country were British ones. So it went to England, where the body boarded another flight and came back to Minnesota. Well, Tracy, the name of this woman is Tracy. Her nickname is Tracy. Her real name is Nancy, but she went by Tracy. She clearly, before she died, she conveyed to her children, her 3 sons, and anyone else who would listen, I guess. She conveyed that she would she was having, there was fireworks happening wherever she was when she made this comment. She said, "I want to go up like that. I want to go up like that." So when I die, I want to go up like that. Now, what she meant by that, we don't really quite know, but her youngest son took on the task of having her ashes sent up in a rocket and forever encircle the Earth, which is what some satellites do when they've got, some rockets do if they have extra ounces to spare. They'll put your loved one's ashes in the rocket. With me so far? Well, my neighbor Todd Johnson, who was the son that was in charge of making this thing happen, contacted this company and sent the ashes to them, and they said, well, our next rocket is planning to go up in August 3rd or something. So Todd got all of his family and his brothers and their children and Todd's 4 children and wife to fly out to Utah or wherever this thing was being sent up from. And they got an email a few days before they were to leave saying there's something wrong with the rocket. We can't send it up. So we'll have to wait for another time. So then another time came and went, and there was another problem with that rocket. So Todd Johnson finally said, I tell you what, let us know when the rocket goes, and we'll toast her or something, whatever they were going to do to celebrate her life. But they didn't need to be, to watch it go. So Todd Johnson got a phone call from this guy. This guy also, he was willing to send his mother up for no money because he and Todd had become sort of friends and they really enjoyed each other's company on the phone and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, this guy called Todd up and said, I have some horrible news. The rocket containing your mother's ashes was launched yesterday, but it never achieved orbit and it crashed. And Todd said, well, where did it crash? And he said, Antarctica. And he said, perfect. So she made it to Antarctica, finally. Now, how's that for a fun story? You guessed where it was going? No, you're a clever girl, you Ms. Mouse. You know you're clever. Yeah. I need another fin on this one. I think that doesn't need another fin. La da 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 dee 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 to Jupiter and Mars. In other words, blah blah blah. In other words, blah blah blah. This fish has its own ruler. Fly me to the moon. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Okay, what kind of head is this going to be? Have black. I guess it's going to have that one right there. That's the eye. Mm. In other words, baby, kiss me. So I found today, when I was looking through some stuff and such, I found a drawing that my dad did of my mother before they were married. And my mother is naked. What do you think about that? Should I be shocked and appalled? It was a very, should I show you the picture? It's quite a lovely picture. I found some sketches that I thought were my dad's, but my mother, it looked a little bit like my dad's handwriting, but it didn't really look like his drawings. And I later sort of figured out that they were my mother's drawings. And I think she used them to apply for art school. I don't know that for sure. I took some classes at the art school my mom and dad went to, and in the sort of derelict area where we had our classes, I did discover a filing cabinet that had my mom and dad's application in it. And I saw them and I saw what artwork they both submitted, which was kind of interesting. So you want to see this is a fish that evolved to be caught by fishermen because it has its own rulers attached. See if I can find the drawing. There it is. My dad was a very, very good draftsman. Oh my God, he could draw really, really well. I posted some pictures of him, of his art on Instagram, on my Instagram page. So take a look. These are what he did more recently. It was in his, he took a life drawing class, I think, but really very fluid. And he drew on waxed paper that you use for palettes. Oh, and my mother made dolls. So here's some dolls she made. These are on my Instagram. You can see them there better than here. My mother and dad enjoy talking about their first wedding. They were married to each other twice. They were set to be married and they were too horny. They couldn't wait that last week. So they eloped. They went to the hospital where my father's grandfather was recuperating from something or other, and they borrowed the keys to his car and drove to Alcoa, Iowa, and to get married. And they ended up arriving too late for the thing to happen that day because the justice of the peace had gone to bed or something. So they, as my mother confided in me, they rented a hotel and did it anyway, did the deed the day before they were to get it married. This is back in 1951 or something. So the next day they got up and to actually get married, and they went to the justice of the peace, and they had him, agree to do it, and they ended up. He said, "Well, you need a witness. Do you have a witness?" Well, they didn't know they needed a witness. So my dad ran across the street to the barber shop and found a guy getting his face shaved by the barber. And he said, would you be willing to be our witness? So the guy came over with soap suds, shaving cream all over his face, and was the witness for this wedding. And they came back home in the borrowed car and told my dad's mother, and my dad's mother said, "You better both be ready, be at work tomorrow morning," because they worked for my grandmother. My grandmother owned a clothing store, and that was her response to their elopement. My mother's mother just cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. So, how's that for a happy ending? Is that a happy ending? She did tell me that was the first time. And I would have believed her, except now I see this picture that my father did of her, naked, mom. So anyway, to their dying day, my parents would always forget when they're, because they had 2 days to forget, not just one. They kept forgetting when their wedding took place because they had 2 of them to remember. Which I also think is kind of cute. Your dad met your grandmother? You mean you met your mother? Or something? Where was your mother during this time? I'm confused. My dad met my grandmother in the middle of the intersection. My dad pushed her car How could your dad meet your grandmother? Oh, I see. No. Oh, I see. Okay, I understand. Your grandmother was not here. I thought your father, somehow you had a grandmother before you had a father or something. It was confusing. But anyway, thank you for having me read it more carefully. This is a funny looking fish, the one I'm doing right now. I tell you. Yeah, she probably, blocked traffic every day for 3 months before someone finally pushed her out of the way. It was always that fat policeman helping me out. Finally, someone that was not that same fat policeman. Well, I like this fish so far, but he needs a tail. He probably doesn't need a tail. He's got enough. This will be the tail. He has enough finnage to put him anywhere, but he's going to have this little tail. Well, these stories are important, even if they're not true. If they're part of the family myth, family history. This looks more like a bird. Yeah. Here's another one of these. Two eyes. What kind of mouth is it going to have? Here's a mouth right there. Well, what color was it? Maybe the child was seasick. Maybe that's all. Maybe it was just sort of green because it was seasick. Could that have been the case? Mighty? Somehow I think not, but it might be. Cambodian color. Well, what happened next on this exciting adventure, the Mighty Mouse? Who came to save the day then? Am I running out of possibilities here? Nope, I found another one. Found another fish. Little head on that one. Okay, what kind of body is this one going to have? I can have it have this kind of a body. I haven't used this yet. So, how is everyone doing? It seems like ages since I've talked to you all. Did you get a new bike yet, Ms. Marilyn? Do you have air conditioning in your place? Well, I can't figure that one out, Marilyn. We'll have to talk to Wasky, who teaches physics and science. He'll know the answer. He will know the answer. Is this going to be a red-bodied fish? I think so. I think I've got enough red for this. I need an eye. Somewhere here is a red. There it is. I found it. I found it. I found it. Uh-oh. No, no, Marilyn, do not sit and direct sunlight. That's not what you do when you're trying to stay cool. I think this one needs some teeth. Where is my teeth area? Come on, Pierre. Cut over here. So my brother is away selling a sailboat that he bought last year, and he's selling today. He never once brought it out onto the lake for some reason. And he's selling it for a couple of $100 less than he paid for it. So well, our family loves boats, and we throw money, but we have fun. Just like pen collectors buy pens and for money and have fun, hopefully, with it. Remember, it's a hobby. Boating, for the most part, is a hobby. It's not so much a frankenfish, it's a vampire fish. Okay, I think I have exhausted this box. I see lots of O's. Should I make another one? No, I should just stop. I did a good job with this box. Uh-oh, look, there's more little tiny ones I could make. I could make a bunch of minnows. Little itty bitty tiny. Little itty bitty tiny ones. Mouse. What are you thinking? Yes or no? Little eyes. Just make one. I need a mouth. Here's a mouth. This mouth has lipstick on it. Gary says yes as well. Okay, what kind of fins? You're the ones that made me do this. Red, I think. You people making me do this. Okay, I need a my brother has returned. This one has a big chin. Okay, I've got two faces now. I wonder what that noise is. Did Todd not sell the boat? Uh-oh. I have I'm running out of power. So, God, look at my beard. See what happens when I started shaving with not enough batteries. Van Gogh, where are you, kitty? Oh, kitty. You're right here. Van Gogh. show everyone you have just one ear. Oh, I know. Such trauma. Okay, I'm going to see you all later. Bye.